All right, race fans, welcome to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway as we bring you tonight's racing action for the Sunoco Race Fuels Super Late Model Invitational here for the American Sim Racing Club. Right now, qualifying underway as we get ready to go with tonight's racing activities. We will see 2 heat races followed by our 100-lap main event here at what is a beautiful day in iRacing. Dynamic track is back. We're going to see it in action here tonight with the best drivers in the Super Late Model Race here for the American Sim Racing Club. As always, our name is Upstate Al. We are glad to bring you all of tonight's racing action right now. We can tell you right now that the Jet has landed. Brett Hahn sitting atop of the qualifying pylon. At the end of this session, it'll be rolling on over into our first of 2 heat races here this evening. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning on in. Hopefully you guys are doing well out there. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know that you appreciate their efforts here this evening, as we'd like to bring you tonight's racing action presented by Sunoco. On the go, you have to stop at Sunoco. Fill up your racing machine, your hot rod that you make it your daily driver. Sunoco has that fuel cell covered. And make sure you stop there and tell them that the American Sim Racing Club has sent you. Heat race number 1, getting ready to come up onto the grid. So let's take a look at your starting lineup. Setting fast time here tonight in the car number 71. The driver is Brett Hahn. Brett Hahn going to start on tonight's front row for heat race number 1. Ron Hart will start in the number 2 spot, car number 51. Travis Roma will roll off. 3rd, 4th will go to Nick Fleury. Tim Rogers and David Patton making up row number 3. Stephen Hoffman and Brian Wildassin will make up row number 4. Row number 5, Andrew Hardings, Mark Welch, and the 99 of Brandon Campbell will make up tonight's starting lineup here for heat race number 1. Getting ready to come at you as we get ready to go to what is going to be a fantastic night of racing. The pace car going to go one more lap here. Brett Hahn, your race winner, or qualifying winner. We'll see how he fares here tonight. Brett winless so far in the 2023 campaign here as we close in on the year end. We want to thank Tanner Tallarico, our man up in mission control. Going to keep these drivers all in line here tonight, or try to. It is a tall task. Once you strap that helmet on, well, I think the blood stops flowing to the brain, and anything can happen as the field rolls here through turns 3 and 4. We're going to see our first Sunoco green flag of the evening, and green flag is up, and we are underway with heat race number 1. Brett Hahn going to jump down to the early race lead down here with Ron Hart in 2nd. Roma Fleury back here with a good battle for that 5th spot, as here comes the 48 of Tim Rogers underneath the 25 of Nick Fleury. Peyton on the outside as well of Hoffman in that number 38 automobile. Familiar colors on that car. Oh, Rogers gets sideways and around he will go. And our first Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs yellow flag of the evening gonna come out for Tim Rogers. We were on it, just lost the handle up off of turn number 2. And Rogers is gonna spit the coal can to the back of the field. A single car incident here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I want to keep calling it the Super Speedway because this thing is bad fast. A big half mile here in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where we are here this evening. I want to thank everybody for tuning on in here tonight. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up for our drivers. They do appreciate you. So make sure you hit that. As the field rolls down the back stretch, lights are already out on here. A single car spin will be a quickie yellow. And interesting here that Brett has taken the outside on this restart as they roll into the LaPlante restart zone in turn number 4. And Brett Hahn going to jump on the gas. Fleury was ready to go. He'll draw even with Ron Hart. So Hart on the inside going to fall back to that number 3 spot just for the time being. Charges in hard down the inside. He gets hooked on the outside. Big trouble down the backstretch. Ron Hart involved along with a 38. Hardings as well. Tim Rogers comes to a stop to avoid it. And that all happened with Ron Hart charging hard to the inside. And just got hooked with Nick Fleury's number 25. And let's take a closer look at that 25. See if we can see any damage. Do not see any, but let's take a look here and see what happened with this one. Down here, you see Hart really throws it down to the inside. Comes up out the corner, just got hooked, and hard contact there. Pay in around the 57 of Welch involved as well. And that is what's going to bring out our yellow flag here as cleanup still continues on the backstretch as our second Tellerico Boardwalk subs. Yellow flag comes out serving West Michigan. If you are hungry in the West Michigan area, DoorDash will not DoorDash it to me here in New York, so I'm a little sad about that. But we will see here as we switch it over here. There's just 4 minutes left to go in this heat race. So it's 50 laps or the time. And right now, David Payton and Ron Hart sit on pit road getting damage fixed. And they are going to have to start deep here tonight in this 100-lap main event. Come a little bit later on. You see some damage to the front of the 86 of Hoffman's car. So Hoffman involved with this one as well. There's nowhere to go, and I believe the 951 of Oldasson on the inside there, row number 3, he's got a little bit of right front damage as well as the field rolls through turns 3 and 4. We're going to get back out here. David Payton back out on the racetrack as well. Green flag back out, and Brett Hahn was ready to go. Down here into the corner, they will come. Hahn leads it down the back stretch as they come off down. Here you see a good battle back there. Stephen Hoffman is drawn even with the 25 of Nick Fleury. Fleury to the inside, but that outside lane, if you can get it to roll, certainly it's to work there for the 86 of Hoffman. Hoffman really working the outside of the racetrack, keeping Fleury down low. One car sideways, that was Andrew Hardings. They're going to go 3 wide down here. Here comes the 48 of Rogers working the outside of the speedway. Looking handsome in that number 48. Tim Rogers on the move. See him flashing down here on the front stretch. Brett Hahn still out on the front of this one. 1.6 second lead over Hoffman, who has now got sole possession of that number 2 spot. Now Travis Roma in the number 38 working the outside as well of Nick Fleury. Nick Fleury working the inside of the racetrack, and we're seeing that outside lane really working well here early on in heat race number 1. And Brett Hahn out on the front of this one, 2.3 seconds out there, but we see a great battle for that number 2 spot. And Tim Rogers quickly closing in on this battle as Hoffman leads it. You got Roman the 38, you got the 25 of Nick Fleury. Those 3 cars underneath the blanket. They work down to the back stretch here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And they are still stacked up 2 by 2 behind Hoffman. All this happening, though, almost 3 seconds behind race leader, the 71 of Brett Hahn. Hahn crosses underneath the stripe here, completing lap number 15, working lap 16. And he is just running that middle to high groove right there on the dotted line, up off the corner. Out there on cruise control, with the battle back here is for the third spot. Nick Fleury on the inside, so far holding off the 38 of Travis Roma. Roma with a nice run down the backstretch. Still wheel to wheel as they work through turns 3 and 4. A little bit of paint swapping between those super late models. Brian Wildassin right there as well. Tim Rogers trying to find a way through as we go on board with the number 40 and the driver out of Binghamton, New York. Trying to make his way up through there. Just about 15. This should be the white flag as Brett Hahn crossing underneath the stripe. You see the white flag waving. Brett Hahn set fast time. Going to come out here in heat race number 1 and looking to go to victory lane here in heat race number 1. And Brett Hahn is going to do it. He picks up the win. Hoffman's going to come home in second. Travis Roma third. Nick Fleury and Tim Rogers with a nice rebound to finish here in spot number 4. Is right now heat race number 2 lines them up. This is your starting lineup. Hayden Swank in car number 35 going to roll off on the inside of row number 1 on the pole. Outside of him, that's Caleb Moljeski. Moljeski in car number 53 will roll off in spot number 2. The driver out of Newfoundland, Canada, though, that'll be, or Nova Scotia, that is the number 18 of Devin McDonald. And outside of him, the BNC Racing car number 88, this is Chuck Darling. Rolling off 5th in the car number 49 out of Michigan, this is Braden Cook. And outside of him, a fellow racer out of Canada, the number 50 of Craig Tully. Cold Bear Coyer, car number 013, will roll off in spot number 7. And outside of him, the 711 of Eric Hahn, looking to follow in the footsteps of Brett. They roll up off the corner. Here he'll roll off 8th. Your 9th starter will be car number 16. This is Noah Boucher out of New England. And outside of him, shotgun on the field. Car number 2, the Tallarico Boardwalk Subs. Car number 2, this is John DeMeester. So John DeMeester going to roll off in spot number 10 as the field will get the furloughed white flag, giving them the sign that we will go racing next time by. So Brett Hahn picking up heat race number 1. Who is going to make it here in heat race number 2 here tonight? Would like to thank everybody that's tuning on in for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Hayden Swank and Moljeski in the 053 on the front as they get into the Sunoco restart zone. Green flag is up in heat race number 2 underway. 8 minutes is the distance. That's what they'll have to go, and it is quickly going to be Swank out to the race lead. Caleb Moljeski in second. He's in a great battle with the 18 of Modestians. We got a yellow flag here already for the Tallarico Subs, Boardwalk Subs yellow flag coming out onto the racetrack. It looks like the 711 of Eric Hahn has gone around on the back stretch. And let's take a look and see Zach Coyer and John DeMeester also involved. Let's take a look here and see what happened here to bring out the yellow flag. They come up off of turn number 2. Oh, Hahn got loose and into the side of the 13 of Coyer. And DeMeester nowhere to go. Let's go back here. Let's go on board. And a hard contact there. A couple hard licks there for the 13 of Coyer. So a tough break here as the field rolls around. Behind there, the already yellow lights are out around the racetrack. That means we're going to go this time in turn number 4. Swank going to take the outside. That'll relegate Moljeski in the 053 to the inside. Green flag is up and we are back underway. Oh, Chuck Darling into the outside wall. It's going to lose him a couple spots there. Swank gets away. Moljeski top 3 are single file back here to the number 4 spot as Chuck Darling works the outside of the racetrack. He's got the 50 of Craig Tully working around the racetrack, and John DeMeester has pulled the number 2 to the pits. Swank leads it down here through the corner. John DeMeester down there with a very hurt number 2 car will let the field on by. Moljeski starting to close in on Swank McDonald as well right there. See him rolling down here on the front stretch. Braden Cook has gone around, and that will bring out our yellow flag. As the 49 pulls with the Ford Mustang back around, trying to catch a gear. Let's see what happened to Cook to bring out this yellow flag. Working there with Coyer behind them up off a turn number. Oh, got to the outside wall, and Coyer just nowhere to go. So the Walker Self-Storage, Katie Cook Photography, number 49, goes into the spin cycle. So that'll be number 2 for Coyer. I don't think really much that he could have done there, as everything happened very quick. Right there in front of him. Moljeski, though, he runs there in spot number 2 behind your race leader. The second fastest driver in qualifying here this evening was the 35 of Hayden Swank. Pace truck pulls down in. Swank going to lead him in here to the restart zone presented by Sunoco Race Fuels, and we are back underway, and the loud pedal being mashed. Charles Darling trying to get a good run to the outside of the 18 of McDonald. Can't quite do it there. Here comes Boucher. Noah Boucher in that 16 car. Working down here through turns 3 and 4. Working the outside of Craig Tully. Tully down low all the way up in that 3rd groove. Boucher went up there. Tully's going to come up, slam the door shut on him. Hayden Swank, though, out front here with 3:15 left to go in heat race number 2. The battle back here, though, a good one. Chuck Darling starting to put a bead on the backside of the 18. We are on board with them. See Tully working down to the inside here, trying to make a move. Couldn't quite do it that time on the backstretch. Right now is Swank, Moljeski, Devin McDonald, Darling, Tully, your top 5. Noah Boucher in that number 16 car. Working the outside, I believe that is a Buick. Takes a look to the inside with the Asphalt Engineering car number 16 of Boucher. And he gets into the backside of Tully. Tully saves it up the racetrack. Craig Tully goes after some contact, so Tully's going to fall back to 8th. Move Boucher up to the 5th spot. Up front, though, this Swank opening up to a 1.5 second gap over Mojeski and McDonald. Chuck Darling is your 4th place car. 5th now, Boucher, excuse me. Zach Coyer, 6th. 7th spot, Craig Tully. Braden Cook is 8th, and he is under fire now from the 7-Eleven of Hahn. Eric Hahn working the back side of the 49. Can't quite do anything with him. You see that front damage there. That happened on lap number 1 of this heat race. As we close in on the final minute of our heat race number 2. Swank leads as he rolls down the backstretch. .40 seconds left to go, and this one Hayden Swank trying to hold on to it. Is the battle now for that number 2 spot really starting to ratchet up here. McDonald to the back bumper. Chuck Darling has made his presence known now as they go through the corner here. Can McDonald make a move on Mojeski? One spot here is one spot further towards the front for the start of our 100-lap main event coming at you. But Hayden Swank going to come off the corner. White flag is out. Final trip around the speedway. And it'll come up off of turn number 4. Hayden Swank going to pick up heat race number 2. Mojeski will hold on for the 2nd spot. 3rd to McDonald, Darling, and Boucher, rounding out your top 5. That'll do it for qualifying here this evening for the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Invitational presented by Sunoco Race Fuels. We want to thank Sunoco for fueling the victory here in heat race number 2. We also would like to thank LaPlante Racing Products for all that they do, along with the Boardwalk, Tellerico's Boardwalk Subs, serving West Michigan. Right now, we are going to have some hot laps for these drivers, and as they do that, we'll step away real quick. You're watching the American Sim Racing Club right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Wait.
That's a strike right there. Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
And welcome back here to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, where the sun is starting to set on this very fast racetrack here. Is that will do it for warm-ups. And now we get looking at tonight's starting lineup for tonight's 100-lap main event here for the Sunoco Race Fuels Super Late Models here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Let's take a look and see what your starting grid looks like, and it will roll off on tonight's pole. The driver of the number 71, it is the Jet, Brett Hahn. Outside of him will be the winner of heat race number 2, Hayden Swank. Slated to roll off in row number 2 will be Stephen Hoffman in car number 86, and outside of him the Moljeski Racing, car number 053. This is Caleb Moljeski. Travis Roma in car number 38 will roll off 5th. Outside of him will be Devin McDonald in the Rowdy Energy Drink, car number 18. Nick Fleury and Charles Darling will make up row number 4. Tim Rogers and Noah Boucher will make up row number 10. Brian Wildassin and Zach Coyer will start in row number 6. Your 13th starting spot will be Brandon Campbell in car number 99. As they work down the backstretch, and outside of him will be the car number 50 of Craig Tully. Andrew Hardings in car number 45 will roll off 15th, and outside of him the driver out of Michigan. This is Braden Cook in car number 49, slated to go 16th. 17th starter will be Mark Welch in the 57, and outside of him car number 711, in the underfunded Motorworks, car number 711, this is Eric Hahn. David Payton and John Nemeister will make up 19th and 20th, and shotgun on the field will be car number 51. We saw him have some tough luck in our heat races. He will roll off 21st. This is none other than Ron Hart. That is your 21 car field here tonight as we get ready to go with our main event. Strap in. This is going to be an exciting one. During the break, checked in with Tanner, and he is saying a lot of the feedback is we're going to see that second and third groove come into play here tonight, and it is looking like it's going to be a great race here this evening. We want to thank y'all for tuning on in here to the Sunoco Super Late Model Series here at the Nashville Fairgrounds, home of the All-American 400. Tonight, 100 laps here this evening. The pace truck getting ready to pull on in. The hands now all watching here as they roll up off of turn number 4. Green flag is up, and we are underway with Brett Hahn jumping out to the early race lead as the field rolls through the corner. Everyone's good. Oh, trouble on the front stretch. It is a multi-car pileup. Your race leader involved, Brett Hahn. Everybody coming to a stop on the backstretch as our Tellerico subs. Yellow flag coming out. And oh boy, what happened at the front of the field? With Brett Hahn involved. A lot of drivers coming down pit road with a lot of damage early on in this one. Let's see what happened Here on the we watched the restart. Han stepped on the gas pedal first down here in the turn number 1. Oh, got loose and got tagged by the 35, and Hayden Swank hard contact. A lot of damage to that automobile. A lot of good race cars torn up in this one. Let's go on board with Hayden Swank. Come down here into the corner. Oh, Brett got loose right there in front of Swank, and Swank nowhere to go, and hard contact with the inside retaining wall. And then everyone else getting in there. So as we come back to live pictures, Han sits on pit road. Stephen Hoffman being shown as your race leader. I believe the race leader will be the 35 of Swank, if I believe. Swank maybe getting a wave around here. We'll have to let scoring get caught up in a turn 1 accident that took a lot of good cars with them to the pit area. As right now, Stephen Hoffman, your race leader. As the field paces underneath the yellow flag. Here presented by Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs, serving West Michigan. We thank them for being our yellow flag sponsor this season for the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Invitational, presented by Sunoco Race Fuels. It looks like we are getting ready to go back green flag racing. This time through turns 3 and 4. Pace truck down to the safe haven of pit road. The field really jumbled up on this one. We've got the green flag back out, and Hoffman going to step on that gas pedal first. He finds himself as your race leader. Well, that's timing and scoring. Get all resituated here. Hoffman leads it, but here comes the number 38 of Travis Roma. So Roma going to jump out to the race lead. Tim Rogers now making his way to the third spot. The driver out of Binghamton, New York, and the Skull Bandit racing team there. Yellow flag coming back out for the second time here as Andrew Hardings has crashed. Harding's in the number 45. So let's take a look and see. Down here in the turns 1 and 2. Comes up off the corner. Oh, just lost the handle right there in front of the 35 of Swank. And that will bring out our yellow flag here for the second time this evening. So drivers are down on pit road. So the field is starting to double up behind the pace truck. As lights have gone out on the iRacing.com pace truck. as the field rolls in here as into the corner. Roma sets the pace, a very slow pace, now steps on the gas pedal. Boucher was ready to go on the outside of Rogers. The inside line gets jumbled up behind the 13 of Coyer. And everybody makes it through turns 1 and 2 so far. As we are back underway. Boucher takes a look down to the inside, backs out of it, looks to live another day on her behind the 38 of Roma. Everybody's getting settled in here as they work through the corner. We're on board with the 57 of Welch behind the 7-11 of Hahn. Hey, had to pedal it a little bit there. You heard that. Everybody working around the racetrack. First 10 cars are single file as we watch the battle back here with Nick Fleury. He's the first driver that is in the battle that's side by side. Ron Hart, who started back in the back of the pack as well, start up to the 12th spot as he works around Eric Hahn. Roma still out front, Boucher right there as well. We watch this battle. Here comes the number 18 of Devin McDonald. Remember, he started up towards the front as well in that 6th spot. Got caught up, came down pit road to get some damage fixed. Now finds himself back here in traffic. Everybody's starting to get into a rhythm. Chuck Darling in the 88 makes a move on the inside of the 57 of Welch as well. Meanwhile, back up front, Boucher has got Hoffman in the back pocket. Rolling that upper group, kind of diamonding turns 1 and 2. Here comes Hoffman to the look to the inside of Boucher. Can't do anything with him this time up off of turn number 4. Closing in on the 1/4 mark here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, the 13 of Zach Coyer. He is battling with the 38 of David Payton. And if you are a frequent flyer here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, you see that 13 car in a lot of different leagues here on the network. Coyer trying to make something happen underneath the Pinkerton 38 of David Payton. And your top 2 cars back in lap traffic here with Swank and Hahn mere 2 and 4 laps down respectfully as we watch this battle here for 6th and 7th. Here comes the 13, 1 car out of shape. That was the 2nd place car of Hoffman. Hoffman going to give way to Boucher, but not so easily. They are door to door here through turns 1 and 2 up off the corner. And these drivers are out here figuring out, well, a new setup, a new way the cars are handling here as the service here today unrolled. An old friend that a lot of these drivers knew had been in the works, and we thank iRacing and their staff for giving us such a great platform to race and not only bring you the action in here, but they took an updated here. The track now working with the cars, heating up, going to lose some grip, gain some grip in different locations as rubber builds up and heat gets into the racetrack. And a pretty cool deal here as we're starting to see everybody migrate, expecting that upside lane to keep getting higher and higher as the race leaders work around the 35 of Swank. Roma now working underneath the 71 of Brett Hahn. And Hahn bowing out of the way, out of the way of the race leaders. So far, the biggest mover of the race is this man, the 51 of Ron Hart. Started back in the 21st position. Finds himself inside the top 10 in the 9th position. So Hart doing a good job making his way up through the field as we saw a little bit of better action up here to 99 of Campbell working underneath Brian Wildassin. This is the battle for 5th. Oh, contact, and up the racetrack they go. No harm, no foul, but here comes the 13 of Coyer and what is a home game for the Tennessee driver. Had this one circled on the calendar to do well at, and he is finding himself working his way up through the field, up into that 30th, or up into the 7th spot here on lap number 30. Ron Hart not done yet. He'll work underneath the 38 of David Payton, relegating him back to the 9th position. So Ron Hart up to 8th here as they all chase Travis Roma. Roma up on the front of this one as Boucher runs in 2nd, Hoffman in 3rd. And they are keeping Roma right there close in bay, within a half a second of each other. Devin McDonald getting by Nick Fleury for the time being. Fleury working the outside. A great battle here on your race screen as they work up off of turn number 2. Chuck Darling trying to figure out which lane to be in as they come through the corner. A little bit of contact between Fleury and McDonald, and you can see that week in and week out here, these drivers able to lean on each other and put on a great show for us here in the broadcast booth and you watching here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We are blessed for the amount of racing. Oh, more contact. Up the racetrack goes Fleury, McDonald, and right through the middle goes Chuck Darling. How about that? The 2-for-1 special in turns 3 and 4 for the number 88 of Chuck Darling. So Darling now up to 12th there as McDonald and Fleury both made some bumper contact. And that allowed Darling to get by him. Meanwhile, Boucher still there in spot number 2, about a half second. Nothing changing up there. Top 5, though, has changed as it is Travis Roma, Noah Boucher, and Stephen Hoffman, your top 3. Tim Rogers up to the 4th spot, and now in that 5th spot, the 99 of Brandon Campbell. So Campbell doing a nice job, up 8 spots here early on in this one as we close in on the halfway point. That's what these drivers wanted. They wanted to get into a long green flag run. You're going to see some comers and goers, who's pushing their cars, who's saving those tires here, and that is a very big part here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It'll wear out your tires fairly quick if you allow it to happen. Brian Wildassin 1 spot outside of that top 5 in the 6th spot as here comes Ron Hart. He dives underneath the 13 of Coyer, and that will be for the spot number 7. So Ron Hart on a move with that Camry. Just got by Zach Coyer. Top 5 single file. Everybody's single file right now. Let's go a little bit deeper in the pack here. See Mark Welch, John DeMeester out there in the number 2 car. Had to go to a backup car. Too much damage on the primary car from the heat race incident. Finds himself in the 18th spot. Mark Welch runs there in 17th in that 57 car. Eric Kahn is 16th. Caleb Mojeski was caught up in that opening lap race, had a very fast car in the heat races, but finds himself down under power. Devin McDonald and Nick Fleury right there in front of them as well. So everybody really just kind of finding their way around the racetrack as your top 5 really starting to shake it up and get aggressive with each other. Boucher trying to cross back underneath Hoffman. Hoffman took the spot away. Now here comes Boucher right back with him. But Hoffman on the outside has the momentum down the backstretch. Little bit of tire contact into turn number 3 and 4. It looked like there just for a moment they come up off the corner. Good battle for second, but this is just allowing Roma to get on by. Brett Hahn allows the leaders to get on by as we close in on the halfway point. A great night of action so far in that third lane, starting to come in. We see Campbell going up there, testing the waters. Gotta wonder how many marbles are up there as we go on board with the 99 at Campbell. Campbell sees the 51 of Ron Hart coming, so now it's a 6-car breakaway up on the front of this one. As Hart has got there a little bit deeper, here comes Wildassin underneath attack from the 13. Poyer trying to find a way around Wildassin. David Payton right there as well. Brandon Campbell takes a look there, got to the backside of Tim Rogers, so wasn't able to do anything. Oh, Rogers in the outside wall, though. That's going to slow him down. Ron Hart underneath him as well. Ron Hart not done yet, trying to get underneath the 99 of Campbell. Campbell having a little bit of electricity issues. You see that car fade in and out of your screen. That is a loose wire in iRacing. Not really, that's just a connection issue, but we like to play along. So Ron Hart from 21st, now cracking the top 5. Doing a good time, and let's take a look and see who was fastest last time. Is now a bid for your race lead. Boucher underneath the 38, Aroma. Hoffman there as well. And Campbell was the fastest car on the racetrack 1 lap ago, just at the halfway point. Let's take a look through your LaPlante halfway field rundown. It'll be the 38 of Travis Roma, your race leader, the 16 of Noah Boucher, running in second. Hoffman is third. Fourth is Campbell. Fifth now Ron Hart. 3 cars under attack here, trying to get to the race lead. Campbell down to the inside. Does it have any grip? No. Hoffman right to the back bumper. Boucher trying to close the door. Hoffman is there on the right rear quarter panel. They get hooked together into hard contact in the turn number 3. Upside down goes the 16 of Boucher. After hard racing as the Tallarico's Boardwalk sub. Yellow flag will come out for the 3rd time. After hard contact down here in turn number 3, leaves Noah Boucher turtled in half in the call. The tow truck is everybody now starting to come down pit road. It looks like the 99 Campbell gonna stay out, so we'll watch the pit road battle here, and then we will go and take a look back at what just happened. As we see your race leader Travis Roma coming in at the halfway point. Some drivers staying out on the racetrack though. 4 tires in the pits extra here this evening, and it'll be Roma down and away first off of pit road, but he will come out and reline up as long as everybody stays out on the racetrack in the 8th spot. So let's take a look back here, see what brought out our 3rd yellow flag of the evening. You see Hoffman with a great run down the back stretch, got to the outside, and they just got together and were hung up, and parts flying everywhere. Boucher up and over. Let's go on board and look out the back side on Boucher. See him get hooked in. Oh. And the camera is gone. As we come back to some live pictures here. Brandon Campbell, your race leader. Oh, Travis Roma coming back down pit road. Underneath this lap, this yellow flag. So Campbell, your race leader, Stephen Hoffman, holding on to second at the time being. We're going to see what happens with the race call. You see your run there. It looks like Andrew Hardings has pulled the 45 behind the pit wall here this evening, so he will finish in the 21st position. Swank still out on the racetrack. Brett Hahn as well. Noah Boucher in pit road. It looks like the 16 has taken the Asphalt Engineering car behind pit road as well after a hard lick down here in turn number 3 and 4. Word from the Infield Care Center, driver is okay as we are back underway in the put away the Tallarico Boardwalk subs yellow flag. Campbell jumps out to the race lead, and we're going to see how fresh these fresh tires do as we see Roma right there in that 38 with fresh tires. Same with Hart, but yellow flag coming quickly right back out for the 4th time. As looks like on this restart, Craig Tully in the 50 was in trouble. Let's take a look back here and see what happened to Tully. Working the middle side of the racer, came up off the corner. Oh, the 49 of Cook got the outside wall. So Braden Cook getting that wall. Let's see what. See, come back here. You see him get the outside wall, and there's nowhere to go. Collecting the 053 of Mojeski. So a tough break there. We come back to some live pictures. Campbell showing out front. Ron Hart now second. We know that he came down for tires. Everyone except for your race leader, the 99 of Campbell, has been on pit road here this evening. So we're looking out back of the pace truck at your race leader, Brandon Campbell. See him working here underneath this yellow flag. Cook on pit road along with Fleury. Nick Fleury just coming down pit road. Two drivers officially out of tonight's event. That would be Andrew Hardings and Noah Boucher. Currently, we'll see if anybody in this last yellow flag will fall victim, as those were some hard hits there. Campbell, though, up on the front of this one. Ron Hart going to restart in that number 2 spot. We've seen the inside line not really get some good restarts here this evening. whether it was underneath the sunshine of our heat races or early on in this feature event, it seems like the inside lane just does not have the grip to get going that you would hope. Campbell leads the field through turns 3 and 4 and into the Sunoco restart zone, and we are back underway. Hart gets a good start. We'll hold on a second. Here comes Brian Wadass down here into the corner. Oh, hang on to her. David Payton around on the backstretch. And it'll be a single car incident. But the 38 David Payton around. And you gotta wonder, was there help? See him working the inside there of Chuck Darling and Devin McDonald. Oh, a little bit of contact between himself and the 18 of McDonald. Let's go on board. You see the contact, and around he will go. And that'll bring out our 5th Tallarico sub, Boardwalk Subs yellow flag of the evening. And what has really been some fierce competition out there. And meanwhile, all this, I believe Ron Hart has taken the race lead. Campbell has come down pit road. So he will have about 20 lap fresher tires, but most of those laps, or some of them, I shouldn't say most, some of those laps have been underneath the yellow flag. Premiered deep in the field will be Campbell. What a redemption that would be for Ron Hart. Had trouble in the heat race, had to start 21st here this evening. Now finds himself up here on the front of this one. Brian Wildhasson runs in second. Travis Roma, we know he's got a fast car. He was up front early on in this one. Zach Goyer, the hometown boy, trying to find his way into victory lane here this evening. Is in 4th. Tim Rogers 5th. 6th spot, Charles Darling in car number 88. Craig Tully is in spot 7. Stephen Hoffman 8th. Eric Hahn is in the 9th spot. John DeMeester rounding out your top 10. Mark Welch is 11th. 12th spot to Brandon Campbell. 13th is Nick Fleury. David Payton 14th. Devin McDonald and Braden Cook are your cars that are currently on the racetrack. Brett Hahn and Hayden Swank down on pit road. As the field gets the sign to double them up, we're going to go back green flag racing. With 31 laps to go, it'll be 30 to go at the stripe. Pace truck down in the way. Ron Hart steps on the gas pedal first as he works down here in the turns 1 and 2. So Hart, Wildass, and Roma. Here comes the 13 of Coyer, works the outside of Roma. Travis Roma trying to hold on to that 3rd spot. Moljeski has taken the 053 behind the wall. So a tough night. Closing in on the 25 laps to go mark. And last week's feature winner unable to make the tow here. Jaden Kratanchi, his yellow flag comes out. Here is Mark Welch in the 57. Has gone through the spin cycle. A little bit of right rear damage on that car. Let's see what happened. Coming down here through turns 1 and 2. And got up off the corner. Oh, just got loose. The 18, nowhere to go. Let's watch that back one more time. Come up off the corner. There you see him spin and get loose. And his hard contact with the inside wall with the Holly Donut Shop. Entry number 57. And Welch will able to get on back underway. See, he sits on pit road. Brett Hahn going to get a lap back. That puts him 2 laps in the arrears. Brett hoping for a couple quick yellow flags. And the driver of the 71 who started the night on the front row, set fast time in qualifying, has not had much to write home about. With the quick time graphics, number 71. Pace track down the way, Ron Hart in the Sunoco restart zone, and we are back underway. Down here in the 1 and 2, here comes Roma trying to work there, and the yellow flag gonna come out as Mark Welch in trouble yet again. Stephen Hoffman was also involved, so Hoffman, who was a front runner early on in this one. Campbell also going slow into the corner here as well. Seeing some left front damage on the 99. So a lot to unpack here in this yellow flag. Let's take a look here and see. Coming down the front stretch into the corner. Oh, Campbell just got into the corner a little bit hard. Collects Hoffman, and the 57 not really involved. Just came to a stop. See that the 99 of Campbell is able to get into the gas pedal a little bit quicker as Hoffman pulled away. So the 99 down on pit road along with Welch and Hoffman as the field rolls through turns 3 and 4 underneath the Tallarico's boardwalk subs. Yellow flag. All right, pace car getting ready to dump back in the pit road. We are back in the restart zone with 20 laps to go here tonight as the boardwalk sub-yellow flag goes away. We come back here, Tim Rogers and Zach Coyer there were side by side for a moment. Good battle for that number 2 spot though through turns 3 and 4 as Roma trying to get by the 951 of Valdassin. Well, that's not going away, and Ron Hart is loving this, seeing this out the backside. This is the backside view from Hart. As you can see him starting to pull away. Hart doing a great job up at the front, starting back in the 21st position. stayed out of trouble early on, as the battle behind them is a good one. Roma now might have him clear, not quite. Wildassin battles back on the outside. The outside line fairly even right now. As Coyers took a look to the inside, Roma a little bit of bouncy tag off of the side of the 951. Coyer and Roma make a little bit of contact. Everybody lives to see another day. Zach Coyer trying to make a move into the top three for the first time this evening. Gonna have to get there is Dave, Dark Side Dave in the cave, a fellow broadcaster. Dave, thanks for tuning on in, buddy. Glad to see you out there. 13 laps to go. Next time by for Ron Hart, who started back in that 21st position, as I have said. Methodically worked his way up through the field. Wildassin, Roma back there in spots 2 and 3. Coyer 4th, and Tim Rogers rounding out your top 5. Craig Tully with a nice rebound here. Finds himself in the 6th spot. Devin McDonald, after being sent to the rear for his part in a yellow flag early on, finds himself back inside the top 10 and looking for a little bit more as he's trying to get to the 6th position. Meanwhile, Travis Roma back to the inside of Wildassin. Brian Wildassin trying to hold on to that 2nd spot, but here comes a fast charging 38 of Roma. Is this time off of turn number 4. Ron Hart's going to see the double high fives. 10 laps to go here tonight. Oh, Wildassin, trouble on the front stretch. Yellow flag coming up. Big trouble. And multiple cars involved. Devin McDonald, Brian Wildassin involved as he has jumped to the pits. Running in 2nd spot. Caught the outside retaining wall. In the Tallarico Boardwalk subs. Yellow flag coming out. Here, in this one, let's take a look back here and see what happened to Brian Wildassin on the front stretch. We're side by side up off the corner. Just got that outside wall. Coyer nowhere to go. Craig Tully involved. Oh, a hard contact by David Payton. You got to wonder, is that going to end Payton's night? You see a heavy right front damage. And that right front not looking too good. Let's go on board with Tim Rogers. Got tagged from behind, and around he will go. Just kisses the outside retaining wall. Craig Tully was involved in that one as well. He slowed up. Oh, he's the one that got in the backside of Tully, and Devin McDonald hard contact to the outside retaining wall. And everybody's able to somewhat drive away from the scene of the accident. Field doubling up. Ron Hart, Travis Roma now, your top 2. Zach Coyer and Chuck Darling in spots 3 and 4. Devin McDonald is 5th, but you got to wonder if that car is going to be injured on this restart. Craig Tully as well. Field down and away. Yellow, green flag coming back up, and we are back underway with 6 laps to go. Travis Roma right to the back bumper of the number 51 of Ron Hart. Hart knows the company is there. Can he hold back the 38 of Travis Roma? Roma right to the back bumper. 5 to go. 5 laps to go. Here they come off of turn number 2 and racing down the back stretch. It is the 51 of Hart showing the way. Charles Darling now into that 3rd spot around Zach Coyer. 4 laps to go. Ron Hart showing the way, though. There'll be 2 to 3 to go this time at the line. The battle back here, though, for the 3rd spot. Zach Coyer trying to get there. Coyer working, moving some diamonding action, though, as Ron Hart opens up 0.6 of a second gap here as he works down the backstretch. Ron Hart started 21st. He will be the first car to see the white flag the final lap around the speedway. And Ron Hart trying to do the impossible here tonight at Nashville. Avoided the wrecks, had great strategy. Coming off of turn number 4, Ron Hart is going to pick up the win at Nashville. Travis Roma will come home second. Charles Darling third. Devin McDonald rounding out your top 5. Craig Tilley, Tim Rogers, Campbell Hahn, Eric Hahn, and Nick Fleury rounding out your top 10. But going to Sunoco Victory Lane here this evening is going to be the 51 of Ron Hart as he burns it down here on the front stretch. Travis Roma along with Chuck Darling. Ron Hart is your victor here. Charles Darling coming home in spot number 3. We'll see if we can get a word with him. But Ron Hart doing a masterful job here this evening. And we are going to take and get a word with Mr. Hart right now as we pull into Sunoco Victory Lane. The driver of the number 51, Ron Hart. You are tonight's winner, and it didn't come easy, sir.
Yeah, I made it work for it for sure. Dead last to first, so we'll take it.
And a lot of unknowns really coming into tonight's race with the iRacing deploying what we call the build or rebuild, every season. Today was supposed to be out yesterday, comes out today. Did you get much time before practice opened up here this evening to get behind the wheel of that car?
No, I didn't, Al. I saw something about it. I don't pay a ton of attention to it. I had a pretty good update I needed to run before we got on. I think we got in about 15 minutes of practice and felt a little bit different. It really picked up speed as the night went on, so that was different than what we've had before in iRacing. But it was nice to have a good race where we didn't have to worry about tire strategy a bunch. It kind of worked out good with that halfway caution. We all could pit, and it came down to who had the fastest car, I guess. So it worked out.
Yeah, talk about the track. You talk about it getting quicker. It looked like to me, especially in that long run, you guys really had to start moving around to find the speed and then the grip. We saw some guys starting to get loose in that long run right before that halfway yellow flag. Did you feel like the track was moving and had to change around a little bit?
It was weird, man. A lot of guys moved up there, but it worked out good because it kind of opened the bottom up for me to go by a bunch of them. I think it was more monkey see, monkey do that the leader moved up, so everybody else did. But I felt like the bottom was still really gripped up and was able to make a lot of passes through the field just from guys running the top and leaving me the lane open on the bottom.
Well, it was definitely a great race there. At the end there, you had just a short shootout, and you had a very fast Travis Roma right there behind you as well. Were you worried about anything on that last restart, or about maybe used up the car a little bit too much since the halfway point to get to the front?
Man, I saved pretty good there at the end. I wanted to get Chuck a good finish. He's my teammate, so it's cool. He got top 3, so I picked the top there to kind of help him move up there at the end, and that worked out really good to get him a top 3, so good run to him, shout out. And I felt like we had him covered once we got out and about, looking at the lap times. Was able to pull away pretty good, so it felt good to get a win. I feel like we could have had a couple other wins so far this year, and it just hasn't worked out, so happy to finally get one.
Well, congratulations on the victory here tonight, Ron. It's a pleasure always to talk to you. And before we let you go, really celebrate this one here in Sunoco Victory Lane. Who makes it all possible for this 51 to be here tonight?
I think my mom and dad are watching tonight. That's cool. They like getting on when they can, and appreciate you doing the broadcast, Al, so they can check it out. Helps us get through the winter. You know, up here in Michigan, it's cold, so looking forward to spring, getting back out in the real race car again. But this definitely is a great alternative to that here in the winter. So appreciate you. Really, Tanner puts on a lot of work and did a really good job this year getting the league back to where it needed to be after that rough last season we had. It's been amazing racing this year, and really good group of guys. So appreciate your time doing it.
Thank you very much, Ron. Congratulations on the win here tonight. And, well, we hope to be talking to you in 1 week's time.
Hey, thanks, Al.
There you go. That's tonight's winner, the number 51 of Ron Hart. And let's see if we can find our second place finisher. I believe that this might be him. As we take and try to find, see if this is Mr. Travis Roma down here on the front stretch. You got your ears on. It looks like we might not have contact with the 38 of Travis Roma, who comes home in that second spot. So we'll move him there. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get in touch with him. But let's bring in our third place finisher. And I tell you, Travis had a great race as we watch his car work around the racetrack here real quick as we get ready to move in to our third place finisher, the driver of the number 88. It is none other than Mr. Chuck Darling. And Chuck, an eventful night to say, but you're going to come home on the podium and your teammate in victory lane.
Yeah, very happy about that. I'm very happy that I managed to get a third place finish. I couldn't have really done it without my teammate. He timed that start for me and got up there. Just didn't have quite enough to get into the second, but man, what a race. I love this track, and I'll take it after the season I've had. This is like a birthday present to end off the day for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would, wasn't going to say anything, but this season hasn't been the typical Darling season that we usually see out of this 88 team. Just, I would call a lot of bad luck this season. So glad to see you have a nice race here tonight on what was, I thought, a super competitive racetrack. Nashville, one of those tough tracks, but a lot of side-by-side racing. I saw that second and third group really starting to come in there towards that halfway point. Where were you finding speed with this Chevy Camaro?
Well, I was trying all sorts of different lines. I was trying to keep it pinned down, but not hit that bump off from 2 and get the car too upset, and trying not to overcook the tires, because you can run the outside at this track. Like you said, the grooves were starting to come in, but I've always loved this track since the NR 2003 days. Now I just got to get down and see it in person.
Yeah, it's one of the tracks that is on my bucket list as well to get there in person. But you guys, aren't helping that itch any better. You guys put on one whale of a show. We saw a lot of, action. We saw some accidents and we saw some big ones. How did you manage to avoid not getting caught up in some of those?
Well, I was caught up in that first wreck. I had nowhere to go. It just happened so quick, and I think I drove right underneath Devin McDonald's car, got hit by somebody else, and Fortunately, I only had a minute 30 repair, so I kept coming in and getting it repaired down to about, I think, 20 seconds. And then that caution at about lap 55, man, my tires were done for. So putting on them four fresh tires really helped there at the end.
Yeah, the strategy plays and all that really interesting, and the good part of this now with iRacing rolling out this, I would say, the road back to a full dynamic track. Did you really notice anything different about the racing surface compared to a few seasons ago or even last season for what they put out there for us to race on?
I think it kind of seemed like the outside groove was working a little bit better. You'd still fade if you ran it too hard out there, but you could run out there a couple laps longer than what we have in the past. So kudos to them for trying to bring back multi-groove racing, because that's something that the sim has lacked in the past several seasons.
It definitely has, and it was great to see that here this evening. Now, I do believe that we are back in action next week, if I am correct, and it looks like we are going to be having a heck of a race next week as we head to the Five Flags Speedway down there in Pensacola, Florida, where the Snowball Derby in real world just happened. How's the outlook there for this team at Five Flags?
Pretty good. That's another one of my favorite tracks. That's another one of them tracks and races that is on my bucket list. But I fared fairly well in all the times that I've competed at Five Flags. I've had a little bit of bad luck, but I've had some good strong runs, some top tens. So I'm looking to improve on that. Just stay out of the messes, stay consistent, and try to keep this momentum going, because the season, like you said, has not been that good. Started out with 15th, and then 12th, and then 11th, and then 10th, and now into third. So I'm happy with the momentum.
Definitely building some momentum and headed into some of your tracks that you like and look forward to is definitely a plus. But Chuck, who makes it all possible on this number 88 car here to be in the victory lane, or not victory lane, but on the podium near victory lane here this evening? Maybe a couple of steps stronger next week.
Well, I've definitely got to thank, Tanner, all of the admins for the great job they do here at ASRC. Got to thank Hometown Sunoco, LaPlante Racing Products for coming on board and supporting the series. And then the ones that I have on my car, Race 1, Mark Welch does a phenomenal job. He made this car a replica of the Bertrand Speedway pace car. I've got Bertrand Speedway on there, Howell Racing, Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club, Horsepower Happenings, Northside Towing, my buddy Brad Bergevin, and Dead Short Race Car Wiring out of Fairgrove. He does a great job. He's been a longtime friend of mine. Northside Towing, and also the B and B&C Racing, my lovely wife Brenda, for putting up with my addiction to this.
Yeah, we always got to thank those. They are always the unsung hero, right?
That's called husband points right there.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you scored some.
Yeah,
hey,
I better.
Hey, congratulations on your third place run. We look forward to hopefully talking to you in 1 week's time. Until then, keep it wheels down, buddy, and be safe out there.
All right, and hey, thanks to Turn 3 and you guys for all you do for the broadcast, too. You guys do a great job. I look forward to going back and watching the replays. So you have a good one, and we'll see you at the next one.
There you have it. That's the number 88 of Chuck Darling coming home in that third spot here this evening. And that means we only have one thing left to do, and that is to go through your full field rundown here this evening. And this is, we just talked to your top three drivers. It was Ron Hart, Travis Roma, and Charles Darling picking up your top three. Zach Coyer finished fourth, and Devin McDonald rounding out your top five. Craig Tully will finish sixth, Tim Rogers seventh, Brandon Campbell rebounded for an eighth spot, ninth Eric Hahn, and Nick Fleury rounding out your top 10. Stephen Hoffman and Mark Welch will finish 11th and 12th, 13th to Braden Cook, 14th to John DeMeester, Brett Hahn 15th. 16th spot will go to the Brian Wildassin. David Payton will finish 17th, and Hayden Swank 18th. Rounding out your field will be Caleb Mojeski in 19th, Noah Boucher, and Andrew Hardings in car number 45. That is your 21 car field rundown here tonight from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We thank you guys for tuning on in. And in 1 week's time, we will be down in Pensacola, Florida at the Five Flags Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks. But until then, we will keep it here on Turn 3, and we'll see you at the races. Good night, everybody.